Hello and a good evening to you all. I'm Ajo. How are you?
Oh,
How's
good, thank
life?
you. Life is kicking.
Yeah, we're here, we're alive, we're breathing, right? This
Absolutely
is
kicking.
for that October, and I have with me Miss Amma Shaila Adamson, and we are here today to talk about how are you coping during this pandemic. It's been a long, long while, and all kinds of things have happened. So we just thought we'd come and just do something, do a program and have people come and share their thoughts or, even some of the things we may talk about you might relate to. And let's all just encourage each other. So I will hand over to Amajo while I share two groups. She can chat with you or chat with me, whatever we're doing. And then I'll see if we can get some people to come and join us. Is that a deal?
Yeah, that's a deal.
Okay, cool.
Hello, hello, our lovely viewers and our friends out there. Our question is, how are you coping during this pandemic? And how are you coping? How is everybody coping? We can all believe and accept that it's not really easy on anyone, especially at
No.
this point in time if you don't have a job and if you don't have anything doing. And if you, we all, I think we all kind of don't even really much have a plan anymore because now it's like even if you have a plan, you don't know,
It's
you don't
up in
know
the air.
how it's gonna happen because you can plan, oh, I'm going to US tomorrow, and then before you realize you can't go tomorrow, you can plan, oh, I can go to Ghana. I don't know much. I could, I think people traveling, I don't know about Canada because
Hmm.
somebody just today, a friend of mine was telling me she wanted to go to Jamaica and he wasn't allowed to.
Oh, wow.
That is from,
Why?
yeah, that was from Canada to Jamaica. I think boarding the ticket and all that, he wasn't allowed.
Wow.
But that is Canadian. So I don't know.
Hmm.
From US to other places, I don't know. But all that I know is from US to Canada now, it's a hassle. Even if you have a
Hmm.
family, if you are in the US and your husband is in Canada,
Hmm.
except you're a very essential worker, even the
Yeah.
essential workers lately, they are very picky of those that are
Hmm.
supposed to come in and those that are not. With
Hmm.
all the rules that are in place now, go sleep in a hotel for, I don't know, 3 days, pay for the hotel ahead of
Hmm.
time, and come in with a positive result, and at the same time, do
Hmm.
your test here. It's really hard. So even if you are planning to travel, it's so hard. My fiance was trying so hard to come into Canada since February, and he couldn't. There
Yes.
there is a law that is not explaining how this travel thing. You if you are getting a
Hmm.
ticket, it's just like, oh yeah, get a ticket. So you think, oh, you can travel, but
Hmm.
after you get a ticket, I think the mistake here, I think, before you purchase a ticket, the ticketers, the agencies should be able to tell you that these are the requirements needed before you can
Hmm.
go ahead and take a ticket. So you know what you're getting yourself in. But they don't.
Hmm.
It's like, oh yeah, you want to go, where are you going? And when you're going, then you just go. You buy a ticket just as we all do online, and then
But don't you
now,
think that we also have some responsibility to do our homework and ask questions as to what the guidelines are for the country? Like,
that
no, what I mean is this, that
mm-hmm,
you have to find out that are you allowed to, like, there's everybody knows
yes,
the situation in which we are. So
mm-hmm,
where
mm-hmm,
can you travel to and where can't you?
yeah.
Because I know even
Yeah,
in Europe there
that
was a
is
time some
actually the
airlines shut
common
down.
one. Yeah,
Hmm.
that was actually the common one. Once you jump on, like, oh, okay, how many, for example, if you get to the Canadian website, oh,
Hmm.
how can you travel to Canada? It's just there. A friend, family member, husband, wife, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
It's just there. Okay.
Hmm.
It doesn't really tell you you are supposed to go to a specific place, fill up that form, send it to Canadian border agencies for them to sign an approval that yes, you
Mm-hmm.
can come. Meaning, it's more or less, we all know that once you have once you're a citizen from the US, what you pick your passport and you're in Canada. So, like a
Mm-hmm.
citizen in Canadian or whatever, you can
Things
pick up
have
your
changed
passport
though.
and you are go. But since it's such a
Things,
hassle now,
yeah.
you have
But
to you have to fill up a form as if you need a visa and take it to
well,
them. Wait for 14 days. Explain the meaning, the reason why, how long you are staying, like that, right?
because of the situation, right? It's a
Yeah,
different dynamic. That's why. Okay,
yeah.
I'll ask you a question. Do you know that there's a place online that you, like, say, as a Canadian
Mhm,
citizen, if you're traveling to Ghana, where you
mhm,
have to go and give information as to your whereabouts in Ghana? And
mhm.
even when you
Oh
get to
yes,
Ghana, you're
yes.
in
That
Accra and you're going to Kumasi. Like a lot of times, some of us, like even me, right,
mhm.
it's through
That
research
I
and
know.
this and that.
Yeah.
That,
Mhm.
but how many people know these things? So we think, oh, I'm
Oh.
going, let me buy my ticket
Mhm.
and then I'm gone. But
Mhm.
this is a different time because even me, like last year, my husband was supposed to travel at the end of March.
Mhm.
COVID hit middle of the month, so he had to stop.
Mhm.
This year he was trying again, same thing. The prime
Mhm.
minister came out and said, "Don't travel," and that's
Yeah.
when I heard that in Europe, what was it? KLM was not traveling between Amsterdam and London, or some rules that I
Yeah.
saw on, Facebook. So it's yeah, the effect is like when I think
It.
about if I start from job losses, so look at
Mhm.
internationally, all
Oh
these
yeah.
flights, layoffs, you know,
Mhm. Mhm.
so it's just
It's
total
a
chaos.
massive. Yeah.
Yeah,
It is a massive.
people's um people's lives have been turned upside down,
Yeah.
and you could be in a home, a two income home, and both of you have lost your jobs.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was CBS News or a few months ago, whenever that
Mhm.
was, and this couple, they were both, high, whatever, they both lost their jobs. And so I think they were telling the news person that the guy goes to volunteer at a food bank or something in the
Mhm.
neighborhood, and just different options that they are doing now to maintain, to
Mhm.
keep themselves.
Yeah.
It's
Just for you to
difficult.
keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I have a colleague who said a long time ago, she said the difference between you and that person out there who doesn't have a job is the person pounding the pavement looking for a job is your last paycheck.
Oh
Like how
yeah.
many of us have massive savings to tide us over
Yeah.
these times? And I
Mhm.
mean, I know too that the government, like some places, not where we come from,
Mhm.
but some places, there's
Mhm.
packages that the government put out to help people and that. But
Mhm.
how long there's rules around them. So how long can you continue to
I, the
rely on
rules
it?
does, yeah, the rules does not even permit you. But like I said, it's all something have to be where you working. Do you have a
Hmm.
job then? If it, meaning
Hmm.
if you do not have a job, I don't know about those that were able to apply for the CCB,
Yes,
the emergency
serve and all
money
that.
and all that.
Yes.
I personally did not even look towards that direction, even
Hmm.
though my job was affected
Hmm.
right from the 15th of that March.
Hmm.
Because I know I had a job, all I did
Hmm.
was to apply for unemployment, which
Hmm.
which is the EI. So as soon as I applied for that, when people were saying, "Oh, you can apply for that," I was, Revenue Canada, me, only them. I'm not going to do
Because right now it's
it.
tax time too, right? So the
Exactly.
implications
So
the
it was
implications are coming.
so it was when I started reading that if you take the CCD blah 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 and blah blah blah, you are paying back and you are doing this and that, and I was
Yes.
okay, yeah.
I think
Well,
there's an income bracket where you have to, like, if you earn up
exactly.
to that, above that
Mm-hmm.
amount, then you're going to have to pay back. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
So
whether you apply for it, whether you went for it or whatsoever, I mean, nobody owes Canada. You know that, right? You want them assuming you pay
but
back.
but something,
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of people, to some when some of these things come, maybe it could be that you are receiving social benefits, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then you go and take that too. people try to jip
You
the
can beat
system,
them. They are so
but
smart.
it will always come back. Yeah, it will
Uh-huh.
always,
You can
you
beat
always
them.
pay.
Maybe
So
today you think, oh, like I got it and I'm so happy. Forget it. They will come back to
mhm,
you and they will take that money no matter what.
yeah.
So
So
it's
the
it's really
the
hard.
question, yeah, the question that I'll ask is that, so
Mhm,
despite these, like these job losses and this drastic, I don't
mhm,
even know how to describe it, so I just said this drastic change, has it all been negative, or is there some positives to it?
mhm.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it have its ups and downs. And
Mm-hmm.
I will use myself an example. Like I said, my life has been get up and go. And
Mm-hmm.
I could just tell how I was pushing, how I was dragging my children very early in the morning. They are going because I have to drop them at the daycare and they have to take the
Mm-hmm.
bus to school. And
Mm-hmm.
then they have to take the bus from school back to the daycare before I pick them from the
Mm-hmm.
daycare. You get it? So
Mm-hmm.
every morning we are on a rush like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Mm-hmm.
go, 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 go. And I noticed that within in between, after 2, 3 months, they will fall sick, they have nose, they are coughing, and I have to stay home for like a week or maybe 3 days or 2 days, taking them to the doctors, taking
Mm-hmm.
antibiotics. But it's been a year. Coming March will be a year. We haven't visited any doctor. They of
Mm-hmm.
all people, they haven't taken any antibiotics. Me, on the other hand, ended up coughing, and I have to go do the test to see if I'm okay before I was able to get my medication. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the main reason why I said I'm not even taking no contract. I haven't taken contract from the community options, and I haven't even looked into my school page to see if I even still have a job. And the reason why I'm doing that, I realized that uh, I'm dropping them and picking them now. You see
Mm-hmm.
the difference? They are not chasing them by and we are not rushing like the goal.
Mm-hmm.
We are still they are back to school and then we are still
Mm-hmm.
doing the school. But I could see the improvement is because I'm not getting up running and going and coming.
Mm-hmm.
My big boy, who doesn't even want to have anything to do with reading so much on time and all that, is more focused because I feel like my attention is much on him and that
Mm-hmm.
is because I'm not running. So I will see in a positive aspect. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
we haven't taken the antibiotic that I have to go to the doctor because within a year we go to the doctor's office maybe 2 or 3 times before the year end, and then we'll
Mm-hmm.
continue like that. But then
Mm-hmm.
we haven't seen any doctor and they are still perfect. That doesn't mean they are very, very healthy, but they get a headache one way or the other. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a pandemic and we are all trying to
Yeah,
stay
stay
safe.
healthy.
We have
Okay.
I've come up with
Mm-hmm.
some rules and regulations, some precautions that we are all taking. So I could see how it's working.
Hello,
It,
Miss
it's
A. Welcome.
oh, it's not like it's gonna be there forever, but for now, because of
Mm-hmm.
us, we are still in a pandemic and most of places
Yeah.
are still locked down and all that. This is how we are coping with it. Is it easy?
Okay.
No, but the good side of it is what I'm talking about, how they are a
Yeah.
little bit okay, and I have a little time
Mm-hmm.
with them more than
Mm-hmm.
the way it has been on the go. So I'm thinking of how I will manage it, plans, how I will be able to cope with the schedule we have now
Mm-hmm.
until something. So it's
Comes
about
along.
planning. It's
Yeah.
about how you
I
plan
was
it, how
going
you
to,
risk schedule. Yeah.
yeah, I was going to say that, like, broadly, like, this is, you know, the, like, us humans, sometimes we don't like change,
Mm-hmm.
and this has turned people's lives upside down, and some good,
Right.
this is broadly speaking, you hear a lot of stories.
Yeah.
There's the bad side of people's
Mm-hmm.
livelihoods are down the tubes, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
losses, and even mortgages,
Mm-hmm.
rents being a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But the other side of it is that people have become innovative
Yes.
and have figured, like, this, like,
So
this
many
is a
things.
bad
Like,
time. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm coming. This
Mm-hmm.
is a bad time of year, but a bad time that we've had, but some too
Mm-hmm.
have still made money because of
Yeah.
new ideas, and or
Exactly.
even doing things like,
Mm-hmm.
um, finding a need within
Yeah.
what is going on, and
Mm-hmm.
meeting that need. And so then people have become very
Yeah.
resourceful. There's
Mm-hmm.
people, maybe they had cleaning jobs, they've lost those jobs, but now they've
Mm-hmm.
turned to their sewing and they are doing whatever. All kinds of
Exactly.
things are going
Yeah.
on. So It tells
Mm-hmm.
you that, like, sometimes you may have been stuck in a mode, probably saying,
You just
this is
have to
what I'm doing,
think, yeah.
this is what I'm used to. I'm in my
Mm-hmm.
9 to 5, but what else can I do? Or you have
Yeah.
a lot of us, like, our people, we want to see hard physical jobs. You get up and you go to a job and you
Mm-hmm.
grind away, then you go here, my brother kakra, then I run here for, and that's what they
Yes.
call hard work. But now
Yes.
everything is online. So all
Yes.
kinds of opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
and there are still people who are old school and
Yes.
they
They
condemn those things,
refused.
but
Mm-hmm. But
people
now
are
they,
making
yeah,
people are making
yeah,
people are making
mm,
it new ideas. So it's just
yeah.
us being open, like depending on your circumstances, right? And especially even like for women that you've had to be at home and
Mm-hmm.
things that you can do at home. That's people have found different opportunities to
Yeah.
you know, um, build passive income, whatever it is, looking into things. So
Yeah.
it's just the willingness to look for new opportunities
Mm-hmm.
within the dark cloud that is hanging over us, right? So
Yes. Yes.
I'm sure
It
if we had the
it
opportunity to ask
mm-hmm.
people, we'd hear a lot of stories. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, of course, it's a time whereby no matter your situation, you have to re-strategize, think about what would be nice. Okay, so if this one is not working at the moment, which way can
Mhm.
I do it? It is hard.
Mhm.
Not everybody that can just
Just make the
get up
change.
a little and say, okay, this is what I've been doing for 20 years and I have to.
Mhm.
It's it, it, it's not going to be that easy. But since we are still alive and we still have, like, I remember
Mhm.
when when it, I don't listen to news anymore. For a very long time, I don't watch news. I took news out of the table, and that was because if I see bad stuff happen and I watch it and I don't there is no solution to it, then I see, like, it dawns on me and there is nothing I can do about it. So I just advise
Mhm.
myself enough. So I
Mhm.
don't watch news. My TV, you will not find me watching news
Mhm.
or whatsoever. And if my children are watching news, it's all about whatever it is they are learning. Unless they are playing a certain game and when they see me
Mhm.
coming, they will change or something. But I don't watch news. So I will I will be one of I will be one of just a few who knew nothing at all.
Well, that's what I was
Who
going
will
to ask.
like,
That I try to filter out that,
uh-huh,
but for me too, I couldn't see myself not knowing what is going on per
uh-huh,
se.
uh-huh,
Usually,
uh-huh.
I tend to watch what do you call it, Global National or whatever at 5:30
Right.
with
Mm-hmm.
it gives you highlights of every place, and then I go.
You are
But
gone, yeah.
you hardly, like, maybe 6 o'clock, I might just listen to headlines and then leave. I don't hardly do the, like, I try to stay away, but at the same time, somebody like I like to, I don't mean the doom and gloom, but just, oh, what's
Mm-hmm.
going on around me. So sometimes somebody might say, oh, this happened, and go, oh, really? I said, well, that day I didn't watch the news, so I don't know,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's something I wasn't paying attention to. So
Yeah.
one of the teachers were like, Miss A, do you know very soon the malls will be closed and everything will be closed? Have you done your grocery your shopping yet? So I was, Julie, I was practically laughing at him. I was, excuse me, Julie. And it's only him, it's only her and her husband. So I was thinking
Mhm.
the two of you. I was like, yesterday we did about $700 grocery and stuff like that, just to keep safe. We did have some few, but that was how much
Mhm.
we came out with. I was, what? $700? Is it that bad?
Mhm.
So by the end of the class, I think I drove past a superstore. There's something was telling me walk in there to pick up a few things because you may never know. Then I think I laugh and say, whatever. One is just something.
But
What lockdown? So
she
now on
gave you
Sunday, that was Thursday.
mm,
On Sunday was the lockdown.
she gave you fair warning, because I was going to say, do you remember that there was a time you'd go into the stores and there'd be no toilet roll? The one day, listen, we went somewhere for a meal. I forget what it was.
Mhm,
Was it my birthday? It would have been probably in
mhm,
March. And then we were like the day before. So my oldest girl had gone to about 6 places, no toilet
mhm.
paper. So
Yes.
we were at the IHOP, and then when there's a save on around there, and I said, oh, let's just go in and pick up something.
Okay.
We went and they
Uh-huh.
they had it. like it was so hard to come by just basic people. Didn't you see these
Yeah, it was
clips on Facebook,
beginning
people
was
fighting
very
over toilet roll?
scary. Yeah, beginning was very, very scary. And I would say I was one of the few who wasn't paying attention to what was happening around me. Or maybe
you,
because I was so much far from the news, I
yeah,
decided
you
to.
you would
And
have
I only
you
laugh. I
would
was
have
like,
stabbed your kids.
yeah, by the end of the day, I was telling myself, if it was like the rapture, the way they pictured the rapture would be, I was like, oh, and like a rapture for me. Because here's the case, I was really laughing. I was, come on, do you want to do something else?
Oh,
Imagine her saying that we locked down. So I was, so this is not, so yeah, that was, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I think the same way it's hurt, it's
yeah.
kind of hit a whole lot of people, but I am just one type. If I go to the grocery and I feel like this one I can afford, I'll just put it there. So I
Hmm.
will say I can't even I don't even really think during when the that 3 months that we were completely locked down, I was even worried for grocery because it's something
Hmm.
I'll buy and try and hoard up a few things. So that was my
Hmm.
saving point. If not,
Okay.
I don't know how what would have happened to me. So yeah,
Okay. So there's a few points that we need to run through. So what about mental health?
yeah,
We're
hmm.
already 21
mentally,
minutes into it. So
yeah, mentally, I am doing
not
all
just
my
you.
best.
We're speaking broadly
Yes,
to the impact to
I'm
people.
only, yeah, I'm not only using myself as an example because
Mhm,
I'm a single parent with three boys, and
mhm,
the fiance that I have who visits me once in a while, once in every 6 months or 3 months for me to feel happy, couldn't make it. He couldn't make it. He's trying to come and he still couldn't make it. So
mhm.
it's like it's me and my boys, and they miss him too because he's most of the time visiting us, and in the case he couldn't make it. So what do I do? I have to try to find a fun laugh for myself. We are in a moment whereby we can't even visit anybody, not like before we can go to church, get involved in church activities to get your mind off. Everything has been online, so everything has been home. So what do? You just have to. I try when the weather is better, I will take a walk.
Right.
I try to play the children games more than anything else. I
Mhm.
read any type of book that I feel is easy and funny for me to laugh over. I find myself to do things that will make me take
Watching
the stress.
watching sitcoms, hilarious
Yeah,
sitcoms
not for
on
me to
TV.
lose it. Not for me to lose it. So if you're in that kind of situation like the way I do, then you just have to find a way of doing what will make you happy a little more. And I
It's
think,
been okay. It's been
mhm,
hard on people,
yeah,
because even like with us in the beginning, would go out for walks, even though it was March, still the snow hadn't really melted. Some
mm-hmm,
days are good, some days are not good. One day
yeah,
we went walking and we said, oh, we're walking. By the time that we came back, it was just, and I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
snow
is
all
this
over,
what
yeah,
was coming? But you
mm-hmm,
tried, and for me too, the interesting thing is that we went walking different places in the neighborhood that you hadn't even thought to explore before.
mm-hmm,
Like I usually just have some particular two sets of routes that I go walking, but this time it was just, you go walking for about an hour
yeah,
or something.
mm-hmm,
So you got in your exercise, but it's like, it was very challenging. Like
mm-hmm,
when we stopped working, I think March 14th, our last day at work was probably March 13th. So on the
mm-hmm,
15th, for about a month thereabouts, because of it had just started, you had no access to anything to do any
yeah,
work. So you were just
mm-hmm,
sitting at home
yeah,
till you got direction. A month later, they say, okay, go pick up your stuff. You can come out. So those times, there was one time I'm like, oh, what do you do with yourself? And I'm usually somebody who gets busy, but you find yourself that because you are stuck, you can't go anywhere and you're getting used to that
mm-hmm,
routine. It's like, what do you do? But
yeah,
now, like now that a year later, if it's bad weather and it's a bad spell, I can be at home for a week and not bother. I don't care. I'm just up and down in the house doing my stuff. But
mm-hmm,
it's hard on people. Like if you've just
very,
been used to going out, work. Now, what do you
yeah,
do with yourself? Miss Sage
yeah,
has a comment here. It says some of the coping skills during this pandemic include thinking out of the box,
yes,
getting creative, brainstorming, reaching out to people, even if
Perfect.
remote control,
Yeah,
exactly that.
yeah.
You know,
Reaching
you
out
can
to
have
people is what I'm about to
Zoom
talk
date,
about. Yeah.
have Zoom
Mm-hmm.
dates or Zoom
Mm-hmm.
meetings and talk
Yeah.
and chat and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Mhm. I
Reading,
know.
you know, or even some hobby. Like this is the time that
Mm-hmm.
people, okay, I've been
Have to
wanting to
learn.
do this.
Yeah, learn
Let
some
me,
few games
let,
to
yes, let
play.
me
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
find a new
Yeah.
something to keep you busy.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Those of us that know a few people, I also think this whole thing has also put me in an area where I try to reach up to people a lot more. I'm not a type
Hmm.
calling. I don't
Excuse
fast in calling. I rather
me.
say, hey, what's up, and then go my way. I'm not
Hmm.
a calling type. I don't do well with
No,
calling,
yeah.
but I try a lot of my with my friends that I know are just at the same area as me. I try as
Hmm.
my best to, hey, what's up? How's the going? I know
Hmm.
it's not easy on anybody. I hope you are okay. Yeah. And those that I feel I don't have to do WhatsApp to, I'm still doing my text. And I think I do it a little bit more than
Hmm.
the way I used to be before. So
Hmm.
yeah, we all have to find a way to
Find a
call
way.
on each other one way or the other and
Hmm.
ask what's up, how are you, and how you are coping and how you are doing. Think a little talk more and
Hmm.
listening to each other more may be
Hmm.
the best
Yes.
solution at this point since we can't even visit. Right.
Oh boy. Yes, I
Yeah.
mean it takes, like there's different people. Some women are into
Hmm.
quilting. Maybe they get together or online, do whatever. Or even as we
Hmm.
get on here, we talk about different things. That's
Exactly.
also
Yeah.
something you're
See,
helping yourself
our
and it's a public service.
another form of my living. Before then, I'm always gluing to my audiobooks or maybe listen to
Hmm.
something and laugh over. Or but
Yeah.
it's with all these and
Hmm.
just talking and letting it out a little bit, so we are not hard up in with all these
Yes.
stress up. So let's
Yeah.
loosen up a little bit
Yeah.
and see the
And
positive side of life a little. Do
yeah.
something
And
fun.
And there are people too who have genuine mental health concerns, and like there's
Hmm.
resources out there, or
Yeah,
whatever mechanisms or coping strategies have worked for
yeah,
you.
yeah,
If you have somebody checking on you or
yeah. A lot of
checking in with
websites
you,
have been open. Yeah, lots
yes,
of
checking
websites.
checking with
Hmm.
your resource person or whoever
Yeah,
that you see, right, and make
yeah,
sure don't feel that you have to like you have to have people that you trust that
yeah.
I can say, hey, this person
Mm-hmm.
has my back, so maybe
Mm-hmm.
I can take 10 minutes of their time talking about, oh, hey, I'm going through this, or this is how I'm feeling, that they
Mm-hmm.
may just listen or just give you a tip or two, something. It's not, I don't mean your oh, now they're mental health and so
Yeah.
not those harsh kind of comments, no,
Mm-hmm.
because at the end of the day, it's this situation. I think it's forced a lot of people to be real, in
Mm-hmm.
quotes,
Yeah.
because there's
I'm
no other
taking
way. You can't fake anything anymore.
yeah, I'm taking some classes online, and yesterday the instructor that I had was actually asking everybody how we should talk about how online visual classes is
Mhm.
doing to us and the importance and the advantages and the disadvantages. And I think one of the lady was um I I missed the part where I just have to sit in the class and listen to somebody's idea with the movement and how they explain rather than being visual is like if you
Mhm.
want talk, if you want don't talk. And with the
Mhm.
visual, with the comment section, a lot of people prefer to put their answers there. So meaning if you want talk,
No
if you want
interactions.
type.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
so it's not like as it used to be. But she
Mhm.
went ahead to say, and but then the good thing is I'm in the comfort of my zone and I can snack on, I can take my tea and and I don't have to drive for
Exactly.
45 minutes because the
Yes,
place, if I should have
yes,
gone to the class with that course,
yes,
meaning I have to
yeah,
drive 45 minutes. Me, on
yes,
the other hand, living in the fort, you
yeah,
see, so it's like
yeah,
I've set myself on gas and all that,
yeah,
but we still miss the class where
yeah,
you just
yeah,
have to get up and go to
yeah.
the washroom, come back and say hi to somebody, and then sit down
Hmm.
again. So
I was going to
whichever
say
area.
something.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
mechanic tree because a Juma said what you're saying about taking my snack, like and then I make kind a Juma report be like your man
Mm-hmm.
of kebi momu di training of a Juma phone I knew a moye Juma no into your
Right.
report almost buy and almost say because of COVID-19, people had to do all kinds of endearment to go or tifie and so training ma deɛ ne ma
Mm-hmm.
mmiɛnsa ɔnyam nso no nso ɔhwɛ ne ma no na ɔyɛ
Mm-hmm.
school no and yes he
Yeah.
said you're no ɔsi ne nipa interaction quite very thoughtful kyerɛ sɛ obiara mmea ne ho push ne ho what kind
Mm-hmm.
more just different things and nipa yɛ and I'm say wow and you know I
Yeah.
thought this is good it's very
Mm-hmm.
encouraging and it forces
Yeah.
you it's a different way but me who is say like yen say ye nipa bi a yen time person ye call. We don't want to be in the front, so I'm sure it will be easy to just hide and so me let me type
Yeah.
notes. But
Mm-hmm.
bibi me feel say bibi wo ho na ehia me pa me busa. But if I
Exactly.
want to be also
Mm-hmm.
I metro
Mm-hmm.
here. But those are
Yeah.
all like we've all had to do some realign adjustments. No, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just as my colleague was saying, or say, or no, or the fact that it's a class, we are sitting there, and when it comes to discussion, it's you hear the person talking, who ni rather than say a video, no, and you
Mm-hmm,
can feel okay to ask the questions, and it
mm-hmm,
makes it more class. But here is
mm-hmm.
the case, and you'll be no person be no kasa in do so be a type so said I don't
Well, even sometimes cry, you
know.
turn off your camera and you who post oh they don't see
Exactly,
that
who
you are
can
there. Yeah,
hey, your
yeah,
presence is more important. So if you want, put the camera, put the video, not
yeah.
put the video. Inti in a way, a year in a way. So one
No,
side
yeah.
ni the end. But then
Okay.
who
We
you
should move
lonely
to
there.
the next point. Mhm.
Mhm,
So, what about the impact of all this on parents and
mhm.
homeschooling?
Oh, it's hard. It's
That
hard.
dynamic, like you
Yeah.
know, I read
Mhm,
something, some article. I forget where I read it, but
mhm,
it was an interesting thing, especially for the women, the
mhm,
women angle of it, because here are two people, a couple. They are high profile, like big. They have to do these Zoom
mhm,
calls and this and that, and then the woman is realizing that more and more those taken up. It's she's supposed to do her stuff,
mhm,
manage the kids, plus
mhm.
so it became. I think the article was saying that became like an eye opener for a lot of a lot of
Yeah.
high powered couples that who does what, but the guy is safely hidden in the study doing his calls, and then you are here
Mhm.
trying to manage a toddler or something and do all that. So and like I think too that just even dealing with technology, just the nuances of it,
Ah,
logging kids on,
yeah.
homework, this, that,
It's
being
hard.
all stuck in one place, because before you were able to go and go out and
Yeah.
breathe or something, but now so I'm sure that
Yeah.
it's
and
there will
and
be
they
a few
themselves too,
tensions, a
they
few
want to
stress.
mingle. The children
Mhm.
themselves too, they want to mingle. And miss obia minim no kutan kolaka to those that have little children like my type, um, all those that side, oh, they should just stay home and do homeschooling. A final Sunday, I'm go back. They all
Yeah,
of them have to go back because we didn't see the toughness on it until when you see the reaction of your children, then you know that they don't want to be because so break when you go on break and you want them to go back on, they don't want to anymore. So yeah, they sit there for an hour or 30 minutes to do whatever work
the
that they are
attention
doing.
span.
Yeah, if they go back, going back into it, at me at home with, even though it's my job for me to make sure you are there supervising at time, I just give up. So I have to leave you. So you have no choice but to go. Sani nka meka sɛ ɛne
Well,
ɔmo ntena efie so mesi dabi ɔmo bɛkɔ ɔmo nkɔ na me nkɔfa ɔmo right
uh,
ɛyɛ hard on the parents but then hey imagine me I'm
it's been
complaining
very
about
stressful.
3 children yeah nti
It's
imagine
been
if
very
they are
stressful.
4 or 5 yeah it's very hard
I can't
it's
imagine.
hard
Sometimes I've seen on the news even mothers who are teachers, so they are
yeah
teaching a classroom, then their kids are also sitting by on there, and
yes
I'm like, how
mm-hmm
do you manage? That's
yeah it's hard
like for me, anything that I've seen recently, I've
mm-hmm.
always told myself to myself, oh my goodness, thank God I'm not raising small kids right now. How are they? Like I look at my
Yeah.
son and his kids, and like, how are people doing this, and it's not
Yeah.
easy because, okay, it's
Mm.
just like summertime. If if you're a stay-at-home mom and you have your kids at home during the summer and you have to entertain them or take them to activities, do this, do that, and you think you are so stressed. Now
Yeah.
it's permanent. It's like it
Yeah.
seems permanent.
At
It's
least even
every
that
day.
one, we are going and they are busy engaged doing something. So you can
Mhm,
take your mind off and laugh or do something. But here's the case, it's not like that anymore, right?
mhm,
It's
mhm,
a day. With matters
mhm.
a day. I said
So I
they
guess
should
the
tap
best
their bag.
solution, yeah, the best
Well,
solution that like you would hope that they take make time out for themselves out
for
of
themselves, exactly.
all this,
Yeah.
and I mean we are
Take a
not going
little
anywhere.
time,
But
laugh.
if you define it and say, hey,
Yeah.
at this time
Yeah.
I'm in my room, no, you go do this. You give them an
Yeah.
activity to do, and then you get a break or something.
Exactly.
Make
Take a break on yourself. Find a moment to laugh.
yeah,
Depression is on the rise here.
depression is on the rise during winter months.
Of
Not
course.
much sunlight, and most people are indoors. It is
Hmm.
even more so now with the
Yeah.
pandemic. Lots of
Mm.
jobs, life not
Job.
normal,
Yeah.
etc. This pandemic, needless to say, has taken a big toll on some parents.
So, whoa, a
You've
lot.
summarized it very well. Yes, because
Yeah.
even I was coming. Those are some very good points, Miss Sage. Thank you. I was coming to that point that there was just that stress of, like, you
Mm-hmm.
are used to not
Mm-hmm.
being there at the same time or working different schedule. Even if you were working as the same schedules, you had time away from each other
Yeah.
when you were at
Mm-hmm.
work. But now constantly, and I mean, maybe it's not to say people don't enjoy it, but there's a limit to how much, sometimes there are people who want to be alone and then
Mm-hmm.
come and be together. So that alone space was not there anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
then it filters into this situation of, sometimes they say teachers will tell you, okay, this child comes to school. I know there's some situation going on at home. And so
Mm-hmm.
this pandemic put people together with people who were abusing them or beating the whoever. So
Mm-hmm.
it took a
Mm-hmm.
toll. It's taken a toll on a lot of relationships. Like I can't imagine. I'm only bringing it up, but I don't know people, and we've heard the serious end of it where people have, killed their spouses sadly,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. But I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
wonder how people in those situations have managed, and
Yeah.
I
It's
know
hard.
there's resources, but still, it's if you don't have a support system, what do you do? If you don't have the ability to, you know, um, there are
It,
people, a lot of times, the people in these situations don't want to speak up about it, so then they are left in it.
yeah,
So
but this is not
what
a
happens?
time to keep quiet though. It's a time to
That's
speak
what
up
people
now.
do.
Yeah.
That's what people do.
Yeah. It's about time. It's not a moment, just as our sister just put it. A lot of job has turned a lot of job
Mhm. I can hear you.
that I got a call coming in. It's not
Oh.
a moment, it's not at all a moment to shut up. It's about time you ask questions. It's not
Mhm,
it's we are not it there is nothing shameful about this situation. It's something that has
mhm,
happened to everybody. So it's not
mhm,
only you wouldn't find yourself to be only you suffering for what you're going through now. So it's
mhm,
about time you ask questions. I would
mhm,
say going to the library, um faxing at home wasn't something because I'm a school and I'm always on the printer and all those things. So
mhm,
I print
mhm,
most of my papers and things, fax them here and there. I'm just used to
mhm,
using. I wasn't so I do have a printer at home, but paying attention to it and using it was not something that I was common with. But once in a while, oh,
mhm,
I'm at the library, so I'll just do it at the library and go.
mhm,
Or I'm at the community, career and community center once in a while because over there you can print for free. At the library, at times you pay. So at times I'll
mhm,
just go there and print whatever papers I want to print as much as I go.
mhm,
But I realized all these places are all closed. So you can't go now. If you even want to print, you have to go to Staples and pay for it because
yeah,
some
yeah,
printing you have to. Most of the things that you can walk into library and do, you can't do them anymore because the library people are not coming.
it's
If you want to
close.
pick books,
Yes.
you have to be on appointment and all that. So it's about time you talk. It's not
Mhm,
like Saturdays anymore. You can just walk in and go. So we are at the moment whereby you have to know the which area to call and what ask questions.
Mhm.
It's time to
But
ask
but
more
but you
questions.
know
Yeah.
you know too though that we have some cultural dynamics, not
Mm-hmm.
just in our culture, but some other cultures too that we're aware of that.
Right.
That whole thing about taboo, silence, don't take your problems out. And so
Yeah.
then
No.
you're
No.
sitting
It's
with
not.
it.
No.
Like, what do you do
It's
when you're
it's
in that situation?
no. No. No.
Right?
It's not. We are no more in that era now. Everything.
But
So
I know, but still there's still some who won't. So those who may
they
want
just
to,
have to
what do they
try.
do?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
They
still
just have to try.
it's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm trying to emphasize is that it's difficult to break that because if
Mm-hmm.
somebody is used to, no matter what, no matter how much suffering they're enduring, they'll say, "Oh no, I can't, I don't have to," because I'm not supposed to be telling people my business. But you could be suffering or you could be dying inside, and if you don't talk to people, then what's going to happen? Right? Like
And yeah.
there's numbers. I'm coming. There's numbers out there that you can call for help and
Yes.
things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
just the awareness of that and being able to do that will
Mm-hmm.
help you too. Yeah.
Yeah. It is
Or
a survival of the fittest. So you not go on, hang on to your tradition or your culture at this point in time, uh,
look,
because
Amajo, if you've been abused and abused and abused, you don't know any better. So you
yeah, it's
think that
true.
that's the only way that you know. So there's still some who won't, and that's the tragedy of the whole thing, right?
It is. But things
So
has happened. Life has changed. It's changing. The whole we are all facing this whole thing, and you are not alone. Whatever
yes,
situation you find yourself at this point in
reach
time,
out
you
to
just have the
somebody.
best, yeah, the best way is to tell yourself that you are not
Yeah.
alone at this point in time. And that should push you for you to talk or seek for help,
And
whichever
and
possible way that you can.
wherever you live to, you know you have access to resources. So it's a matter of
Hmm.
Googling something or
Yes.
finding a number,
Yes.
if it's
Mm-hmm.
to do with, okay,
Mm-hmm.
supports, like whatever,
Mm-hmm.
if you type it in, you know where most people, or it's something that we need to make ourselves aware of that. Where can I find resources? Like
Mm-hmm.
even Government of Alberta, there's apart from having a like the different ministries having websites, there's
Mm-hmm.
resources, different areas. It can be legal
Yeah.
stuff, it can be this. You go, so depending what it is you are looking for, if you go there, you'll find something, some agency to call for
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
And it applies everywhere. At least I know, sir, Brochi, that we live, there's these resources are there. So you need to have the awareness to call
Yeah, make
somebody.
use of it. Yeah, makes use of it.
Even-
It's
And
about to
even
ask time to ask questions now. It's about time.
Mhm. Yeah,
And I know a lot of people do not wanted to have anything to do with the media, computer stuff. They didn't want to, but I'm sure because of this pandemic now, a lot of people
find a way.
will try to find a way to have a little
Yes,
bit of knowledge about it.
yes,
So yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Even something, if you don't know anything, there's YouTube. All you have
Mm-hmm.
to type is how do I, like, how do I use such and such? It'll show
Yes.
you the steps. Everything is there, right? Let's
Mm-hmm.
take a break and then we can come back and talk about
Wrap it
the
up. Okay.
impact of the social distancing, money issues, and loss and grief, and kind of
Yeah.
summarize. So
Okay.
let me take this off and then. So, hello, we're back, and that's the book, Reflections for a Thirsty Soul. As I say, it is not dead, it's still in bookstores, so you can find it in Amazon, Freezing Press, Barnes and Nobles, and Google Books. Do make it a point to get your copy, you'll be blessed. As well, the
Yeah.
second book, which we do the live chats on Sundays, The Beauty of a Woman's Heart, is being published. So, in a few months' time, you'll be hearing about it. So, and do join us too on Saturday for Practical Nyamisem, Practical Spirituality. Um, where we come from, we were raised in the faith, but my thoughts on it is that sometimes we we apply the faith or rules or regulations so rigidly, and it makes no room for practicality. And so, we have people sitting around waiting for manna to fall from heaven, or somebody else always has to be responsible for them. But that same Bible tells you that use your hands to work and God will bless the work of your hands. So for me, if I read something and whatever insights I get from it, then I come and share. So on Saturday, I'm going to be talking about how great is your love. The Bible says we should love each other, we should love our neighbors as ourselves, and we spend a lot of time hating each other, especially in our I'll leave that unsaid. So join me at 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. And then on Sunday, Amajo and I and YAA'S at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time will be on for the women's chat. So we are going to talk about what the impact of social distancing has had on us. And then let's talk about some loss and grief. A lot of people have died, and just the impact. So, anything you can say on those.
Yeah. Well, we have to find a way to heal, right?
Mhm,
It's it is hard. Some of the videos that I watch,
mhm.
they might not be my family, but at that point in time, I have
It's
no
rough.
choice but to weep.
Oh,
It's like
yes.
I stood there with them. One of the doctors who died somewhere in Europe, and at the middle, I think at that time it was so serious that people couldn't people couldn't get closer to her to just hold her, and then she was just standing there. The video, the way she was weeping, and I was, this is the time somebody have to hug her or
Mhm.
just stand her, and then she was just, it was one of the difficult moments, one of the video that actually broke my heart. And I prayed with her, and I just felt like I should have been there for her, even though I don't know her and all that.
To
So
lost
yeah,
somebody.
yeah, it was just a video that I
Oh,
watched
yeah.
on my phone, and it was really so, the film was very so touching and very, very heartbroken. But like I
I saw
said,
one. Yeah, I saw one. I think it was a very top, brilliant surgeon, whatever he was,
mhm,
and he died. And so they
yeah,
were like his heirs. They were driving by the hospital before they
mhm,
went to bury him, and you should have seen people, the staff, all along. Like he was
yeah,
such a good. I'm like, oh
it's
my gosh. It's
yeah,
so when you watch it, it's so
yeah.
it
No,
hurts. And for
we have
me,
all been hurt.
for
Yeah.
me, right? What even regardless of when um COVID is happening, any situation that something
Mhm,
happens and there's been a death, some tragedy, and then it's all in the papers and everybody's talking about it. Look, okay, I'll use Kobe as an example, Kobe Bryant
mhm.
and the daughter. How
Oh
many
yeah.
people, like, during that, like, okay, the year anniversary has come, but something, not even just anybody who loses something, you hear all this noise. And then later on, I ask myself, so when all is said and done, where are those people now? What's happening with them? Is
Yeah.
anybody, so it's like it's been like just even people are dying and there's no family member around,
Mhm,
and people
mhm.
are it's people, like there's a lot of heartbreak out there.
Yeah, it is hard.
There's a
It
lot
is
of
hard.
heartbreak out there. I can't imagine. But
It is so hard. I remember my boss and I, what we do is to pray, and at times I will ask them to pray. So I think when the night before when I was praying, I wept. So it kind of hurt it. So it when it was a stand, it was, God, please, you heal other people. So mommy wouldn't be crying when he's praying. So now I felt so
you so you people so but he's right. It's a good prayer to pray.
yeah, but now I felt so. I just couldn't hold it. That is how bad it was. Today
But
I'm laughing
it's
about it
okay.
because life must go on. Anybody ever watching me today should know that
But
it's
oil. But you know you you know that the thing about it is it's okay. Like we need to be. It's keeping it real. The children need to know that parents do cry, so it's good.
Yeah.
To give them
But
the
by the end of the day,
of
I didn't know it
reality.
hit. Yeah, I just didn't know that it hit him that bad that you have to
Yeah.
turn it around to to also pray that way, and it's hard. I
Mhm.
know, but like I will repeat it again. It's not a moment for us to still keep on to be who we used to be before.
Times
It's
have
a
changed.
moment for all of us to try and tap each other's back and say, "Hey,
How are you
I
doing?
am there. Yeah,
Yes. No.
I'm here with you, and you are not alone." So if we can do that alone, I think it should be good for
Mm.
anybody at all that has been just this afternoon too. One of the video that I watched, a lady, a Ghanaian lady has been found dead in her room. For how
I
long she
saw
has
that.
been dead?
I
Yeah,
saw
for
that.
how long she has been dead? I don't know. Blah blah blah. But
Mhm.
that come back to us. Does she
Yeah.
know people? Did anybody call on her? And also ever? I don't know. So it's about time we all do that. We it's not it's it's not like I said this before, and because of that, we all have to try and change one way or the other. Call
Mhm.
on each other and just find out how we are doing
Mhm.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
The
So
code, the code
get out and go
outside.
for what.
It's
So
not that bad actually. We've been the
but
weather has it's back to a little normal
yeah.
now.
But to sometimes during this loss and grief, sometimes we do the wrong things. Sometimes as you know what I mean, like instead of being a support or whatever, like there's certain times that you don't ask questions. You just this has happened.
Just
You
listen.
can be a support, but then the gossip and the innuendos and oh, what happened? How did they die? This you don't need to be getting into all that.
Yeah,
There's been a death. How can you show
just
your
be there.
support?
Just show your
How can you
support.
show your support? Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's resources like are people to we frown on a lot of things, but there's counseling, there's grief counseling, loss.
Mm-hmm.
When things happen in schools and kids lose their life or a teacher dies or something, they say grief counselors will be. Anytime I hear that statement, I feel so. I mean, I know that it won't bring the
Mm-hmm.
person back, but I feel so comforted that at least there's resources and people have avenues to allow children to talk and process what has happened. But
Yeah.
that's something that we may not know or lack. And it's a
Mm-hmm.
good outlet to be able to talk about some of these things. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know how people do it, but it's not an easy thing.
Yeah. But we are not in the olden times anymore. We should all try.
That's what you
Mm-hmm.
say. Some still are. Some are stuck back there and they won't come
Mm-hmm.
forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should all do well to towards each other now. Somebody just check on a person. Just check. Let's try and check. At least our phone are working. At least the phone companies have been very, very much merciful too, right? They are not uh
Well,
disconnecting anybody's phone at the moment. And if you have a television, they try to keep you up to date that people are home and people must watch. So it's
mm.
it's just that time at this point in time. Let's know that we are not alone, and let's try and do good on one another. Yeah.
So what impact would you say social distancing has had on
Mm.
people, families,
Oh.
and some have
Uh,
been brought closer? Listen to him. The Canadian Ghanaians are looking good, I see. Hey, Nana,
well, we just have to try. We have no choice.
we're here.
Yeah,
There was
no
this
choice. We just have
try.
to.
There was this little boy that I saw in the news, and he was like, I think they have a calling time that they call with his grandma. Like people are finding different outlets to connect, right? And also there was a woman who's I don't know. One of them was where were they? I don't remember. It could be Vancouver and somewhere else. And the mother has somebody looking after them. So every day they have a call and they connect and they talk. So it's you see, I know that in this part of the world where, like, we're very focused, if you're not careful, you fall into this
Mm,
individualism, me and my family alone type thing. And so, and yet still there's people who have their strong family traditions, but just because of the distance, people have had to be innovative or find out new ways of doing things. So maybe
yeah,
every Sunday people connect by MS Teams or Zoom or whatever else is
mm-hmm.
out there to check in and have a chat. So just reaching out, and then too there's some places to where sometimes the family members to have cut themselves off from people. So you know that to happen.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
there are some who won't reach out to you, but they don't reach out, but they want people to reach out. And so those dynamics too, those are things that you have to work around, but it's
yeah.
tough.
This
Mm.
is what I'm saying. Even if you have cut yourself off and you think you were okay, we are not we have a new normal now, right? So because of that, if you are not nice, no matter what it is, try and be a little bit nicer because you have to be there for somebody to be there for you. Now
Well,
it's more like do to me and let me do unto you too. We have found ourselves into that category now. So yeah, help
well
me and help you is the point now. It's no more like it's me
so,
and only me
some
anymore.
people don't need anybody. They'll cut you off and then that's it. Despite these times, there's people who are also
Mm-hmm.
stuck in, rigid patterns of, you do me, I do you. I wasn't talking to you,
Yeah.
so why should I be talking to you now? And it's going
Well,
on, right?
it's at that point in time, we like I
People
said,
are dying. You are sitting around being petty.
yeah. Uh-huh. Exactly. People are dying. People are sick. People are dying. People are sick. Most of the majority of the people are worried. And just as our sister wrote, there's stress everywhere now.
Yes.
We are all questioning ourselves. So what's next? What's next? We are
Hmm.
hoping for a better tomorrow, but like I said,
In
now
the
even if you have
meantime,
a plan on the table, you don't know how to implement it. Gone are the days you know that, oh yeah, next week I'm going to US and that is it. But today you just can't say, okay, I'm going to US and next week you are gone. Things have changed.
Amajo, you know something? Remember, you reminded me of something. Remember when they said, I heard recently that a lot of the cases that increased, that jump that we got in this COVID in January was in the
Okay.
small towns. And I was saying that, even we used to be able to get in a car and drive to these small towns, and we'd get there and we'd have our mask, and then nobody had mask
No,
on. So we would take them off. So now they are the ones suffering there.
you
It
see, you
was like
see.
that. They never changed.
Mhm.
So, mm,
Yeah, so whatever it is that we were on pandemic, you are right, because uh, we never changed, but we have change has come to us now. We were
mhm,
people that are refusing to change. We were just going as with the flow, but change itself has come to us, and it's like we have no choice anymore but
mhm.
to also flow with the change flow. So that this is why we have to try and come in and do.
Realignment,
Yeah, we have no choice but to accept it and find a way to live around it instead of
new normal.
trying to hang on to who we are before. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's situations where we will tell ourselves, no, I don't accept this, but this is something that
Mm-hmm.
everybody,
Yeah.
it's
Mm-hmm.
affecting everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So you need
Yeah.
to realign whether you want to or
Yeah.
not.
Mm-hmm.
Life has
Yeah.
changed. It's
Yeah.
it's simply that.
Yeah, just last Sunday, I normally order my honey from a farm, and the lady
Mhm,
have to deliver the honey. But this point, with all those that know that I get honey, once in a while they will ask me, "Oh, so do you have one of your honey?" And honey is the lady coming. I remember this time around, I called about all those that I know who may need honey, and said, "Okay, so I'm ordering the honey, and in case you want it, I would order for you." And I pick up about four of them and I was
wow.
just driving. Okay, I'll drop it in your door, pick it up. I
Mhm,
just feel like it's about time one must do something. I feel like that's my only way. Normally,
I
I'll
get
just
it.
order my own honey and then meet
Yeah.
the woman and pick. I don't get others involved, but it it after dropping one honey in front of the other door, one of the lady was, "I've been to your house 3 times, Shyla, 3 times, and you never." So, so you see that was how this is the change I'm talking about here.
Mhm. Yeah,
Well, grace is okay coming to me, so I was like, you feel okay to come, so just come. But finally, he was like, finally, because of this, honey, you made a way to my house. So you
yes.
see, that's how it should be at this point in time. I
Adjust.
think yeah, we just have
You're
to
not going to
try.
say
Mhm,
sorry, eh? Is
mhm,
that what you're saying? For what I'm reading is true.
mm,
Sorry for
yeah,
your loss. Yeah,
the pandemic. It's hard. It's
it's
hard.
not easy. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not.
it's like really
So,
hard.
are there any other points before we wrap up
Mhm.
for an hour?
I did think we did well. I know a lot of
Are any
other
of our
people
people
might
doing
have
any honey farming? Not that I know of.
I just get it from the farm, and if you get buy it from the farm, it's a lot. To me, you get a bigger bowl, and
How much
you
is it?
can $30.
A big bowl. How big?
Yeah, it's in the leader thing that is covered,
Oh, oh,
and
okay.
you can use it for. I think one if I get one, it goes up to 3 months because I use honey for my tea.
Yeah, yeah.
My
Use a lot
boys,
of honey too.
yeah,
So that's why I'm
hardly do
asking.
I do sugar. So
No,
to
not
me,
sugar.
it's
It's stevia.
hmm. And now this the pineapple, the lime, and the stuff that we are drinking to keep us going. For to
Pregnant.
encourage the little ones to drink it, I have to add a little bit in it just to sweet it up for them to drink. So I don't
Mhm,
go without it. Yeah, I'm
mhm,
not going more without it. So I have to.
mhm,
Might have to
mhm,
come from the farm. So
mhm,
if I want to rely on those one from the superstore or Walmart,
mhm.
they are just two. You pay $10 or $11 within a week. You
Yeah,
go
then
back.
it's.
So
I know, I know. My
yeah,
daughter, like, we
that
started honey because of her, and then every time you run out and this and that, so
yeah.
I'll
So you
probably
just have
just.
to try and
Mhm,
yeah, whichever way we think we can reach up to one another is what we have to
mhm,
do at this point. Yeah,
yes.
that's all.
So just be a little.
Mm-hmm.
Humanity has to reach out to humanity.
Exactly.
Kind.
Yeah.
Just show a little kindness or check on your neighbors. There are some people
Yeah.
that I said
Mm-hmm.
I'll check up on at work today, and I've forgotten to do that. So tomorrow I should
Mm-hmm.
send
Yeah.
them a little note, to see how they are doing, because you don't
Yeah.
know, right?
Yeah. You
Oh,
never know. You never
don't
know.
know anything. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Yes. So we've been here talking about
Yeah.
where's the banner? How are you coping during this pandemic? So we've talked about work losses and how people have had to adapt. And because people have done these adaptations or innovations people have been able to um, derive or develop new sources of income. So that is one piece. So sometimes we don't want to change, but situations forces us to embrace the change. So despite it being so bad, what lessons can you learn from it? Has it made you more adaptable? So going
Mm-hmm.
forward, what are some of the challenges that you are things that you thought you couldn't do before, but now today you think if you face such a challenge, then you have it in you to take on something new, something more difficult, and try it and see what happens. So that's the encouragement that we want to give. We're not here just to talk about the gloom and doom. Yes, things happened and they are still with us. It's a very sad time. And then there's the mental health aspect. There's those who are having who already have mental health challenges, and then there are those two who it's been forced on them, all of us, because of the current circumstances. How do you handle it?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do for fun? Are you still sitting there all tight and work, or do you find a release and read or laugh or do something, or you know have a chat or something, connect with friends? If you're not somebody who likes to talk on the phone, at least a note or even a 5 minute, 10 minute, um, you know, video call or something. And then also the stress of homeschooling on parents.
Parents. Yeah.
Yes, and some parents were forced into situations where they had to make a choice whether to have their kids stay home or have them go
Oh,
to
go.
school. And
Yeah.
people will make you feel guilty about that, but If you can't afford it and you're going to stay home, how are you going to get your bills paid? So
Yeah.
that, people have had to had to be very, very,
Yeah.
how do you call it, come up with new ways of doing things. And
Mm.
of course, too, with the marriage dynamics where, you have to still do your work at home. And then it's like me sometimes, okay, you see me here, I'm working, and you forget I'm working. So maybe you think, oh, at the end of work, there should be a fresh meal there, but I've worked and I'm tired, or those dynamics. So,
Yeah.
and then the impact of the social distancing. Are we reaching out to each other? Like, don't be an
Yeah.
island, talk to somebody, you know, and, for those who've suffered loss and grief, it's unimaginable. But
Yeah.
the support systems.
Empathizing
Are
them.
you a
Yeah.
support system? Do you have one? Or there's counseling and other things available. So if you've not been aware of or able to tap into that, that's something you can look into to help you
Mm.
manage things. Do you have anything to add before we say goodbyes?
No, I think we've said it all. Let's try,
Summarize it.
and
Yes. Yeah.
it's hard on all of us. It's hard on
Yes.
everybody. Even our little children are feeling it. They
Mhm.
it's this situation that has no adult or no young couples or whatever. I think we are all in it together, and
Mhm.
because of that, that is why we just have to do well
Yeah.
towards one another. We are in it together. We just have to find it. We still, like, what did I say? The owner of the world is still on the throne. If we can still see day and night, meaning the owner is
Yes.
still alive. So
Yes.
because of that, we just have to find, and
Yes.
there's a reason to
Yes.
laugh as well. So
Yes.
let's give ourselves a little
Yes.
breathing space and
And
laugh,
don't give
see
up. Yes.
possible things to laugh about.
Don't give up. Yeah, that's my one last comment.
Mm,
If you're a person of faith, Christian,
mm,
Muslim, whatever faith you belong to, I mean, that is for me. I rely heavily. I can't do anything on my own.
mm.
Sometimes even you don't even feel like praying. There's too much going on and all these
Yeah.
things.
Mhm.
It's not like I'm not, like I say, I'm talking practical and I'm a sim, so I'm not going to come and sit here and be like I'm so holy that every day I'm prayer baba here baba I'm praying. No, sometimes
Mhm.
you don't even feel like it, but you know that your God is still God. It goes like this. In anybody who says their Christian life has been like this, then power to them. They are doing good. But I'm not that person. So I'm being honest about it. Like there's spirits, and then sometimes you are down there, you don't know even what took you down there. But in all this, you know that He's still there and the word is still your source. So that's what I rely on.
Yeah.
So with that said, thank you. I'll see you on Saturday at 8 o'clock
Yeah.
Mountain Standard Time with How Great Is Your Love? It's a real
Yeah.
conversation.
Okay.
Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay, good night.